And ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky joins me now from outside that courthouse in New York City, along with ABC News executive editorial producer John Santucci and attorney and former prosecutor Emily Bradford. Aaron, David Pecker also described yesterday how he learned about Stormy Daniels and why he instructed Michael Cohen to pay her directly for her silence, unlike the other stories that Pecker says he helped kill for Trump. So what stood out to you from that part of his testimony, and how do you expect the defense to respond?
David Pecker was at dinner with his wife one Saturday evening in October of 2016 when he said he got a frantic phone call from one of his top editors informing him that Stormy Daniels had a story to sell about an alleged affair with Donald Trump. And when he told Michael Cohen about it, Pecker testified that Cohen told him to buy it. And Pecker said, "I'm not a bank." He had already paid $30,000 to bury a doorman story of a Trump love child. He had paid $150,000 to Karen McDougal, and he said he didn't want to get involved with a porn star. And Michael Cohen was the one who ended up wiring Stormy Daniels the money. And that's what's at the center of this whole case. The way Trump reimbursed Cohen, prosecutors say, falsified business records.
Now, John, Trump denied having an affair with Daniels. He also denied having an affair with Karen McDougal.
Right.
But David Pecker testified yesterday that he believed Karen McDougal's story was true and that it would embarrass Trump and hurt his presidential campaign. The details coming out on this case, and that will continue to come out on this case, how do they affect Trump, not just legally, but also personally?
So on the personal front, the thing to remember here is that, Donald Trump has said and told people, according to my sources, this whole thing is embarrassing for him, right? Because it is getting into his personal life, his sex life, right? Things that, nobody would ever really want to be talked about in any type of setting, let alone a public court. And somebody who is so forward-facing, right? At the end of the day, everyone does get to have a private life, if you will. So put that aside for a second. On the political front of things, what Donald Trump has been calculating here, he and his team, is that, they wanted to delay this thing, as we've talked about, forever and always, right? They didn't want to be in this courtroom, period. Okay, now they're in the courtroom, so that's over. The thing that they know is problematic, based on all the polling that's come out, is, God forbid, if they get a conviction. Because what the data has shown so far is that there is a small but nevertheless significant portion of voters that have said if he's convicted in any 4 of these criminal cases, it could sway their vote. And we know, based on all of the polling so far, everything between Biden and Trump, it is super, super close.
And Emily, 6 months after Trump became president, he hosted this thank you dinner for David Pecker and some of his business associates. The jury saw a photo of Pecker and Trump walking outside the White House that day, where Pecker says they had another conversation about Karen McDougal. How important is it to the prosecution to draw attention not only to that conversation, but to the setting?
Well, I think it's important because obviously the main issue here is the intent. So what was the purpose of these payments? Donald Trump's going to argue that it's about his personal reputation, about his family not finding out about these affairs. But we have evidence of what the communications were at the time, which I think are going to be the strongest as far as what the intent was. But then these subsequent conversations in the White House, obviously that's a setting that's highly political. Following up on it in that context tends to support the idea that the purpose of these payments all along was election related and political.
Aaron, the judge also rescheduled a hearing for next week on several additional alleged gag order violations for former President Trump. He could be held in contempt. What are you watching for there?
The prosecutors said they identified 4 additional instances when Donald Trump violated the gag order that prevents him from attacking witnesses, the jury, and they talked about some of his remarks in the hallway where the former president frequently speaks before and after court. They also said he gave a couple of interviews in which he disparaged Michael Cohen, and so they want Trump to be fined for each of these instances. The judge still hasn't decided about the 10 prior alleged violations, so there's going to be a hearing on this next Thursday morning, and prosecutors will be pushing him to hold Trump in contempt.
All right, Aaron Katersky, John Santucci, Emily Bradford, thank you.